Our house is a mess right now. Everything's about packing at the moment. Suitcase here, stuff sitting here still got to pack. And as well, Miss Melinda, she's got bags packed sitting here too. So we are down to that final countdown. We're gonna spend the next couple days just getting some things in order, making sure, you know, all bills and anything that could possibly be due out there anywhere, just double check, make sure everything's paid, taken care of, in order. We've already done quite a bit of it, so there's not much of that to do. We went yesterday, which was kind of, I don't know, it was kind of weird to do, but my truck needed to be inspected and registered. And we leave in just a few days, and then I'm going to pay for an inspection. I'm going to pay for a registration for a truck that's going to be set here parked underneath the carport, and will almost be due again when we return. That's just the losses, man, you know, of having this stuff. And let me tell you about car insurance, if you are wondering about that. So not all states can do this, okay, because I already checked this out. Some states have different laws and rules than other states, but our state happens to be a state that we can do this. So we can park our vehicle and we can call the insurance company, and they can put it on what they call parked or garage, meaning you're not going to be driving it, it's only stored, but your policy's still active, but at a way lower rate, just a minimum rate, as long as you're not driving it. Now you go out and get in an accident and you drove it with it on that parked insurance, well, they're not going to pay and you'll be in trouble, because it's the same as not having insurance. But it being parked there, you know, at your house, in your yard, driveway, carport, whatever, it's still insured. So that's one way. If you're leaving a vehicle behind and you're going to be gone for a while, and you got a 6-month policy and you're going to be gone 6 months, to not waste that money, put your insurance on park, okay? And you got to make sure if you leave your keys with somebody, they don't go driving your vehicle and take it out on the road and get in an accident, and now there's big trouble. So yeah, it's kind of crazy, you know, spend that money for inspection and registration and all, and then we fly away from here. It was a big debate for us to do it. Mel, even, she was suggesting in the beginning, maybe we don't, you know, maybe we don't. But I said, you know what, be my luck, even in this short little time, we'll get pulled over or something and get a ticket, and then, you know, we got all that mess. And so no, just do it and be done. At least when we do come back, it is still good and I don't have to worry about it then. But it won't be good for long. So I'm gonna tattletale on a friend of mine. Boy, I'm dirty, man. Look at all that dust and dirt on me. My wife kicked my butt sitting on furniture right now. What else has been happening? Well, I want to give a little bit of advice or warning to a lot of you that travel to the Philippines and all. And let me cover a couple personal topics. And when I say personal, it means this affects somebody that I directly know or friends with or something. So I'm going to start out first. I'm gonna sell out my buddy Cap. I'm going to throw him under the bus. Yeah. So Cap, he went out and he was with his girlfriend, and they were enjoying there in the city the other day, and then they got in a taxi cab and went home. And the next morning, he realized he can't find his wallet, okay? He goes searching everywhere and he can't find it. And he got to thinking that, well, I know I just had it right before I got in the taxi. In fact, they had just taken a picture in front of a sign there in the city right before he got in the taxi. And he even went back to that picture, and you could see the wallet in his front pocket bulging out in that picture. So he knew that right before he stepped in that taxi cab, he had the wallet. He got thinking that the pair of shorts that he was wearing didn't have very deep pockets, and he had noticed things kept trying to fall out of pockets. He lost his wallet. He apparently fell out in that taxi, probably as he's bending his leg to step out or something. In his subdivision where he lives, a taxi cab driver has to turn an ID in to the security guard. The security guard writes all of his information down. So Cap went to the security shack, and the guard looked up and found the taxi cab company, found the information, and he appealed to the taxi cab company, to return it, and he hadn't heard anything from them. Another fare could have got in, seen that wallet, kept their mouth shut, and just slid it away. So, the taxi cab driver could be 100% totally innocent. First of all, be careful wearing those little shorts that have, or even pants that have real shallow pockets. I suggest never, ever carry your wallet in your back pocket. There's even trending news right now throughout several cities in the Philippines, including our city as well, that pickpockets are alive and well right now, man. They are really pickpocketing and snatching people's stuff. So be warned, it's a hard time out there right now. And so people are going to be a little bit more desperate, and they're going to be a little bit more hungry and a little bit more blazing to do things. So that's a warning to you right now. Be careful. If you can, keep your wallet like down in the front pocket like he did, but with a deep pocket. I bought a pair of those shorts too that had those real shallow front pockets. Absolutely hated them, and luckily the shorts were cheap made and they tore up before long, and I don't have them anymore. But me too, I kept noticing I kept having to push my phone back in and push my wallet back in. So I would avoid any of those shorts that are pants that have real shallow pockets. The next thing, you can do what they call fanny pack or whatever. I don't know. It's not my cup of tea, I guess, being an old Texas boy. I'm not going to go around wearing a fanny pack. Each to his own. I'm not beating you up if you do. Hey, whatever works for you, whatever works. But be alarmed, be aware. And something I do constantly that sometimes even aggravates Melinda is if we do use a taxi, before that taxi drives away, I hold that door open, and after I'm standing up outside that taxi, I look back in there one more time, because Melinda has left jackets behind, she's left umbrellas behind, she's left caps behind, and I just always, because my wife's forgetfulness, I'm always double checking, and sometimes I'll ask Melinda, did you check? Did you get everything? Yes. And I'll open that door, I'll hold that door and look in, and she'll be like, I already told you. But it's just for good measure. So just take a little bit of this advice. The next thing that I want to talk about is, for instance, right now, my friend Mike is going to make his first trip abroad, first time he's ever going to see an ocean, and, going to a foreign country or anything like that. So he's been just landlocked in the U.S. and Minnesota, the land of lakes, but those are more like the land of ponds. And then here in Texas up by Dallas also, and this is all he's known. So he's never been around a big body of water, beaches, the shore, like the Gulf or Atlantic or Pacific or any of that. So this is going to be a big experience for Mike. Now, he was over here yesterday and we had some discussions, and I was just kind of giving him a few little tips, and I brought up about money, and he said, yeah, what do I do about money? So we're going to just cover this. I know it's an old topic, but I told him, go to this bank and get clean money. I know we've covered this topic before. We have some new subscribers, some viewers, maybe it's your first time. So again, you want to get clean money. When I mean clean money, is you want the latest version of the US $100 bill. You want it without staple holes, without pencil marks, pen marks, marker marks, stamps, personal stamps, handwriting, Jimmy loves Susie or whatever, wrote on it. All of that, it has to be clean. No folded corner on it, no big creases down the middle, not wrinkled up where it's been wadded up and straightened back out. Clean. They want clean money. Now, we always complain, hey, they want us to give them perfect money and then they give us garbage back. But they are trying to implement some rules in the Philippines right now that they want people to take care of the money, especially the 1,000 peso bills, which is equal to roughly, I know the exchange rate's a little higher right now, $20. Basically $20, 21, whatever. Let's just say $20, keep it simple. But they're wanting people to keep that money clean and taken care of, and they don't even want them folding it up and stuff. So at least they're trying, to say, hey, take better care of your money. At least we don't have that whine as much then when they give us some really dirty, nasty money and we're having to give them perfect, crisp money. So maybe that's going to balance the scales. Denominations. 50s, maybe. 20s, not really. 5s and 10s, not really at all. 1s, no. Coins, no. So don't get over there trying to exchange right down to your last dollar. They're going to, if they even do exchange, if you find a place they'll even take it, they're going to give you a way lower rate and you're just cheating yourself. So don't say, oh, I'll bring a bunch of 50s or 20s because they're easier to break. And yeah, you're going to be broke. Yeah, because they're going to give you a low exchange rate on it. If you can even find anybody to take it. And that means you might be spending money with taxi cabs and tricycles bouncing place to place, losing even more money trying to find a place that'll take those smaller bills. And once again, they got to be clean. They got to be straight, perfect, not beat up and abused. So, you got to make sure that old Ben don't have a black eye, or a tooth missing. That's a little advice right there to you as well. Then Mike, he's just coming for a few weeks, and he asked me, about how much should I bring. Well, it's according to what all you're going to have to do. Years ago, I would come for, 3 weeks. Man, I'd bring $1,500. I had money at the bank. I could get to an ATM or something like that and pull out emergency if I had to, credit card, debit cards, backup. But cash on hand, I'd bring $1,500, and maybe it's because I'm just a tightwad and I was being really cheap all the time back then. But sometimes I'd only spend $1,000 and come back home with $500 or $400 still left over. Now it depends on hotel stays and stuff too. If you're not going to pay for a hotel stay or something on your card, and you're going to have to spend cash for it, that's going to kind of go down pretty fast. And if you're going to be staying in hotels a lot, you're going to have a bigger budget. If you plan on doing big grandiose things, you're going to have a bigger budget. So, you might want to pay for your hotel stay on a credit card if you have one. Some people don't. I suggest never, ever use your debit card abroad. Just don't. That is absolutely ludicrous. And I know someone may comment on here and say, I've been using my debit card there for 10 years. Well, good on you. Good on you. You're just luckier than all get out. You're giving somebody out there a chance to your bank account for the whole amount that you have in your account. We're going to cross this topic back over to Cap again. Luckily, Cap didn't have his passport with him, and he didn't lose it, which ain't going to fit in your wallet anyway unless you got one of those little wallet-sized cards that represent your passport. And he did not have his bank card and stuff. It was put away in a safer place. So he got lucky on that. He got very lucky on that. But at first, he was in panic mode, Don't blame him. Don't blame him. So luckily, he didn't have like a huge amount of money in his wallet and carried the whole everything he had with him. And again, don't do that. He didn't. He was smart, and you also be smart and don't do that. Or if you're going to carry your money on you, don't carry it all in one spot. Don't carry it all just in your wallet. Divide it up into different places on your person. If you're carrying a little backpack, put some down in a very hard to get to place in your backpack, because with backpacks, and if you have them on your back, if you have a girl or a friend or somebody with them, get them to get you 6 or get them to get you 9 or your 3 o'clock where they can see you, because thieves will come up and unzip your backpack and reach right in, and you won't even feel it, and get things out of your backpack. They will even sometimes take a sharp razor and cut your backpack. Now, I haven't seen any of these instances going on in the Philippines in a while, but new reports are coming out that people are getting a little bit more desperate. So just be warned, okay? Just be warned and do your due diligence. Maybe you want to carry that backpack or swing it to the front to your chest. I do that sometimes myself. I'll wear it backwards and it becomes a chest pack instead of a backpack. And I'll swing it to my front. That way I can keep an eye on what's going on there with it. And be careful, don't just be toting it, because they can grab that thing and yank it out of your hand, or rip the handle off and take it. So just be warned, be warned. Philippines is pretty much a safe place, but when you get hungry people and desperate people and there's financial hardships and all, people are going to do things they normally wouldn't do. And so just be warned right now. Back on how much to bring. Again, are you going to be staying in hotels? For Mike, he's going to be staying pretty much with us, except maybe when we're up in Manila at some point, there might be a night or something there. We might join and get a family room, you know. It's just nothing that we got to have separate rooms for everything. So if we can save money and get a family room, which is very common in the Philippines, very, very common in the Philippines, that's a way to save money for everyone right there. So you're just going to have to look at what your situation is. Are you going to have to rent a place for your whole trip there? If you're just a vacationer, you might want to carry a little bit more money with you. You might want to have some backup funds there. And if you're coming to stay, you're going to need to set up a way to get your money all the time. So if you got a pension, Social Security, disability check, whatever, that comes into your U.S. bank account, and you need access to that money, well, what happens if you lose your bank card, or some kind of fraud happens, they close down your account, and you had no backup? I cannot express enough to don't put the old saying, all your eggs in one basket. Don't do it. Have a backup, whether it be a credit card with a limit that you can pull cash off of, or open a second bank account. Keep some funds in that second bank account. So if something happens to your primary account and the one that your deposits come into, you still have access to some emergency funds in a second account. It's really cheap to have a second account. Banks these days are so easy to open accounts and on real low fees. So open up a second account. I have multiple accounts, and I make sure I don't tote those cards, those debit cards, those accounts around with me, and they're put up in a safe place. So if there's an emergency or I lose something, I have a backup. If you're going to be there in the Philippines for a while, you might want to open up a Philippines bank account. Now, banking in the Philippines can be funny. You can put money in there, and sometimes when you go to take it out, they're like, why you want your money? What are you going to do with it? What are you going to spend it on? Why? We got to talk to the bank manager. Bank manager's got to prove you take your money out. This happens. It's not the West, so don't be surprised for that either. But I've been using BDO for years. I've had a BDO account, I think maybe since like 2007. And then when I got Melinda in my life and we just got married and we wanted to have things together, her and I together as a couple went open a BDO account, and we've had it for years now. So, and we've never had any trouble out of it. I can't recommend any other banks. I've never dealt with any other Filipino banks. There's a lot of them out there. But I can tell you that these little small banks, I have seen some of those get shut down and taken over by the Central Bank of the Philippines. So be warned and stick with the big boys, okay? Well, This is gonna be my little video for you guys for today. It's kind of running longer than I expected. I just want to give you some advices there, and if you are making a trip over to the Philippines first time, or anywhere in Southeast Asia or anywhere over there, I hope that you have a really wonderful trip, a good time. Don't stress too much. It's overall a super good country. It's a pretty safe country. Uh, the things that we've talked about happening, you need to be just aware of right here in a lot of cities in the U.S. and other countries as well. So I'm not pointing any kind of blame like that the Philippines is going to be more dangerous than where you're leaving out of here in the U.S. Chances are it might be a whole lot safer. And so don't be scared. To relax. Do your due diligence. Don't let your guard down, because you might find times that you're in a crowd and you're around a whole lot more people around you than you're used to. And it might disorient you for a minute or take your mind off things for a minute, and people bumping you, and it gives them a chance to grab. So just be warned. Also be careful about your cell phone as well. You're recording, you're taking pictures. Hold on to it well. Maybe get one of those little wrist straps or something to where they can't snag it so easy, because these things are happening again now. I've seen it before. I remember back in 2008, 9, and 10, right in there, it was happening a lot in the Philippines. But especially around 2010, it was really bad. But it lessened down as the economy got better and everything was better there and better times. People had less incentive to want to risk doing some kind of thing like that. Um, it happens. It happens. Everybody take care. God bless. And probably make a couple more videos before we go. Probably not a whole lot. And y'all bear with us, and we'll get back in the Philippines, and we'll get back on the rhythm of things. All right? Everybody take care, and God bless.